There is a lot of people that seem to have a problem with this idea of, my high school friends kind of suck, and I never realised that, but now I do realise that. Can you help me? Yes, I can help you, but I can't help them, except, you know, when someone's dangling off a cliff and they're, give me your hand. Here's what I want you to do. Whoops, my finger slipped. Ah! Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you why. Because after being out of high school for a while, or after being out of university, or whatever your proclivity might be, Mr. Dumbass with your tertiary education, you know, the bunch of me! After a while, you start to realise that these people are dead weight. When you're saying that these people have no interest in improving their own lives, they have no interest in being better. You know what happens to those people? Atrophy. Atrophy should scare the living daylights out of you, because atrophy is what happens when you go into a $2 shop and there is a man with a protruding bulge that is impressive. I will say this. It is very, very enlightening to see a man that has a bulge of a belly that looks like it's just been pumped with cement, that they are a moving cement truck. Hungry Jack. That guy buying things, and you buy something and they go, you buying something, mate? Yes. You buying something? Yes. Reject some? Yes! That's what happens when you atrophy. When you atrophy, you are looking for the easiest, because this is something just natural about human nature. Human beings, as a general rule of thumb, like all mammals, like all reptiles, like all... What's a lower form of life than a reptile? Margaret Thatcher. Sign up to Jordan Shanks today for more classic 80s comedy from England, but with an American accent. You That's what happens to you. You turn into a fat man with a cinder block stomach that looks, I'm guessing, like a really smacked out Santa Claus. And that is the result of doing what is easiest, and that is what human beings always do, what is easiest to them. And what I think is the point that you have to get to is you have to trick your brain into thinking that improving your living standards is tantamount to your survival, because otherwise it won't do it. When your brain links up that something is necessary, not that it's a nice little if, but it has to do this, that's when you start moving up. And the other thing that's really scary about being around these people is that they keep reminding your brain that, oh yeah, you can just sit around on your ass and smoke weed. And you do. You might sit there and say, oh no, I don't do that, I'm just better than them, I sit there and say, you're pathetic, you don't smoke weed. Maybe you don't. I highly doubt it if you're being honest with yourself, but maybe you aren't. But you are doing other things that they do, unconsciously, because the overall message that you are getting is, this is what you have to do to be alive, because you look around at everybody else and they're still alive, so you keep doing it. And it will freak you out when you go back into that social circle 5 years after being out of it. You walk back in and you realise, oh, they're worse. They're doing more drugs. The rapidity of their brain isn't firing off as good as it used to anymore. It's starting to look like a kebab shop lights with a few of the light bulbs going... And then you come in 10 years and it gets worse than that. It fries your brain. And that's what happens to people that have kind of atrophied. They just, it's another way of saying that you just keep going downhill. I've talked about that before. But the point that I want to make upon you is, you think them not improving their life circumstances is scary? You got to get out of there. Even if it just means being a complete lone wolf. Going slowly mad in your own little circle of Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyer, circulating around your head. You don't need them anymore, you just need me with your 4 easy payments of $14.99. I'm telling you, it is better than the alternative. I have built an alternative to the press in this country. Obviously, there's been some other hands that have helped me along the way. But the whole point is, the way that I have got those hands around me is because I moved away from those hands. If I was in that circle, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Now it's all business. Now it's just a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week lifestyle, baby. It's for the fast and the furious. And if you're not fast or furious, you might as well sod off. That's my life now. But it was acclimatizing myself to that position of moving in from Mount Everest. And if those guys are sitting there, not moving out of base camp, I'll just smoke a lot of bongs and imagine them at the top. You can do that, but you will have their life. And this is something else that I think is actually like quite scientific studies into this. Stupid people have worse lives. Does that shock you? And by worse lives, I actually also mean, this actually did shock me, much more unhappy lives. And if you are around people that are just emanating stupid vibes, again, your brain subconsciously accepts that that's okay. And the scary thing is, in our day and age, it is okay. But you are capable of so much more than sitting on your ass. And so you need to move out of those social circles if you are ever going to get into a mode of just getting stronger and stronger. I want you to think of yourself as an elite bodybuilder for the rest of your life in whatever you are doing. Do you think that they have time to hang around people that aren't the size of 6 men and their bicep just looks like, I don't know, Peter Dutton's head? No, they don't have time for it. They only have time to be around their own ilk. And so when you says that people don't want to improve their life circumstances, this is something that is really shocking to me, that so many people don't understand this, because it's such a frequent question that comes up on this channel, which is, you can't do anything for them. You can't. You can't convince them of anything. They can only convince themselves of that. All you can ever do is say, maybe you should read these books, but if those books don't resonate with them, they're going to be stuck there. And the question is, are you going to be stuck there hanging around with these people? And I think that you will understand, and you will naturally come to this conclusion yourself. I'm just trying to speed up the entire process. You will understand that if you hang around with those people, you will get their results. That's why you need to immerse yourself in a fantasy world of 80s business suits. You do, though. You absolutely do. Because it pushes you for a higher standard. The fact that they are constantly reminding yourself you're nowhere near exercising your full potential. Am I exercising my full potential? No. But when I look at how much work I do now, as opposed to even 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, when I look at it, I always think after every year, Jesus, I was lazy. And as a result of that, better things keep happening because you are making yourself more efficient. And if you, the only thing that I think actually happens as a result of walking into those old circles and you sit there and you just realize, man, I'm glad I didn't stay here. I don't want you to stay there. If you're listening to this channel, I want better for you, and that's why I want you to sign up to Jordan Shanks so I can be your friend instead. No, but yeah, look, I do actually think that. I do honestly think that a circle of self-help gurus, is there a better circle on earth to be around? Even if you're around people that are like, I don't know, stockbroker traders, for instance, who are clearly the best human beings that society has ever produced, fuckwits with ponytails snorting coke. But if you are around those people, yeah, okay, let's look at the plus sides. They're making a lot of money doing absolutely nothing. Let's look at the negative sides. By doing absolutely nothing and making a lot of money, they're actually damaging the planet. And they're also, on top of that, probably have really, really bad skills in everything else in their life. I like the fact that self-help keeps reminding you of the most round existence that you can possibly have. People always ask me that, how do I get work-life balance? You can't get work-life balance. But what this can do is explain to you all the other options, because it's constantly just this reminder all the time of, hey, have you tried this? Does this work for you? Does this work for you? Does this work for you? And instead of just going through life and seeing as it works, which is what most people do. Most people just go through life, let's see what happens. Oh, what do you know? I ended up working at a bottle loaf for my entire 20s. That's how most people go through life. But the whole point is that this gives you agency. It says, here's the tools. You map out where you want to go. What do you know? Because you have these tools, you actually got there. It's a phenomenal feeling. Every time I'm in a crowd of 500 people doing stand-up, which I'm going to be doing now, and it's so crazy at this point that I don't even need to advertise it. I sell out 500-seat venues with, okay, the barest of advertisement, i.e. I just put up on Facebook, show, sold out. That was because of self-help. You can get there too with the Jordan Shanks self-help program. Sign up for 2 extra episodes a week and get yourself the inside track to success. I do actually think it. I might just be putting on a cheesy 80s accent, but that's because that is the aesthetic that suits self-help. It doesn't make the lessons any less true. Thank you for watching.